So to those that don't know who I am, again, my name is Brian Tewes. So I am I'm in probably the most boring part of real estate. And y'all want to guess what that is? Don't raise your hand.
Mortgage loans.
You're damn right, mortgage loans. They're so freaking boring. But anyways, that's what I do, y'all. I'm going to tell you about the biggest fuck up I've had in my 6-year career, which I've never told anybody. So let me give you some backstory, though. We good? Oh, with that? Oh, dude, I like never catch. Like that's rare, bro. Good throw. All right, so to give you some backstory, again, 6 years prior to that, I was working in like the banking industry, and what my family taught me, all right, and maybe some of you guys can relate, what my family taught me was go to college, get a degree, get a job, climb the ladder, right? That's basically it. And then once I was climbing that ladder, I hit a pedestal, and I went and got my MBA because I needed that to get a little bit higher. And I realized that I really didn't like being in the rat race. So transparently, my dad, he's actually been in mortgages. He just hit 30 years. He's not gonna wanna know that I just told everybody that, but he just hit 30 years in the business. And he said, well, son, why don't you just think and like get into the business? I said, hell no. Because I saw what happened to our family in 2008, 2009. We had to file for bankruptcy. Like, we almost lost the house. Fuck that. I'm not going into this business. Well, I did. But what ended up happening was I decided to like buy my own place, started renting, and that was the trigger. But as soon as I became an entrepreneur, dude, I was liking it. I was doing whatever the hell I wanted. There was no more 9 to 5. I showed up whenever I wanted. But honestly, I was thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do? What do I do? Like, there's nobody telling me what I'm supposed to do. My dad said, well, son, by the way, he lives down the Keys. He's not here in Orlando. Zoom was not a thing yet, so we were on phone and Skype. He goes, son, you need to find business. How you find business? You gotta go find people that'll give you business. He said, your number one target, you search these mother effers out and you become their best friend. You wanna guess who? Realtors. Find realtors. So whatever your business is, you gotta find out who's your number one target that's gonna potentially give you business, and for us, it was realtors. So, dude, I was all about just trying to find realtors. And I did. There was one in particular I met at a networking event. She was a super cool lady, and she had just started as well. I'm like, shit, I can like relate to you, right? And she goes, Brian, hey, me and this group of friends, we're playing volleyball over at Festival Park, literally right down the street, if you guys know where that's at. He's like, do you want to join? I'm like, shit, I haven't played volleyball since I was like 6th grade, man. But yeah, I'll give it a shot. So I'm on freaking YouTube, like looking up how the rules of volleyball, because they play with rules over there. Am I good?
Yeah. Sorry, I was like...
Oh, okay. I'm like, you pointed at me. I'm like, I'll stand over here if you need me to. Okay. So anyways, I'm looking up YouTube videos. I'm looking up the music that freaking volleyball people listen to, which, by the way, is Beach Boys, Lumineers, and Black Keys. I still remember that. That was literally their playlist every freaking time they played volleyball. But I'm out there, dude. I was out there 2 times a week for 2 hours each single time, just befriending, just being super close, right? Waiting for that one opportunity. Kind of thing like the Eminem song, like that one opportunity, don't lose it. 6 months of this, okay? 6 months, guys, and as a starting entrepreneur, I wasn't really getting like too much help, so I'm going through my savings. I only had maybe probably like 2 transactions in 6 months. So for the entrepreneurs, any business owners, you can imagine like, okay, yeah, you're in some shit. So 6 months comes around and she calls me, she goes, Brian, I got a client for you. I'm like, goddamn. It's about freaking time. I just became a great ass volleyball player. I'm about to get a client. All right, what you got? Who's the client? She goes, me. I'm like, oh shit, let's go. So, man, I was hyped, man. I turned off the Lumineers. I started playing Drake. I'm like, this is it, man. This is my moment. Let's go. So she and her fiance were like getting set to buy up a home. Feeling great. We're 3 weeks into it. We're 1 week from to get the keys. And if you're not too familiar, we don't get paid until they get the house. All right? No keys, no cash. That's what we call it. So we're 1 week out, all right? 6 months in, 3 weeks. And she calls me up one day and she said, hey, Brian, I got a question. Probably one of the simplest questions we get in the mortgage world is, I'm trying to lower my monthly payment, which we all know is crazy right now. I'm trying to lower my monthly payment, and my thought was, there's no way we can do that. It's way too tight. Like, there's nothing else we can do. And she's like, well, I heard that you can do this with something called mortgage insurance. Can you guys do that? I'm like, no, I don't think so, but like, let me double check, I'll get back to you. So I call up some people, 3 hours goes by, I come back, I call her back, I'm like, hey, yeah, we can actually do it. And she was like, all right, I'll get back to you. Call back, nothing. The next day, text, nothing, ghost. Can you guess what she did? She went elsewhere. She went to a different mortgage company. She got the house, she got the keys. I didn't get no cash. 6 months down the drain. 4 hours a week, all right? 4 hours times 6 months, that's 24 times 4, that's about 72 hours and change. And we're not even counting the hours I worked on that file, all right? That was gonna make me $5,000, which, okay, to some it's like $5 grand, that's measly. Well, not when you have your own mortgage and you had literally no transactions the last 2 months. Like, that's what you need for ramen noodles at this point. That was my fuck up because, spoiler alert, kind of get into the end of the story, we'll kind of get more into it. She now, 6 years later, she's one of the top 50 realtors here in Orlando. If I would have got that knocked out, I would have made probably close to $200,000 over the course of the career so far. But I fucked up because I was focused more on becoming her best friend, playing volleyball. I was focused more on listening to the Beach Boys on the way so I can sing the song when I'm spiking it, right? Because I'm supposed to become their best friend. We all hear about networking. We all hear about like, oh, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, I got somebody. I met a person through networking. Who you know? I know her. She's a freaking now top 50 realtor. But what I didn't know was one of the simplest things in the mortgage world. I spent more time befriending than actually education. So, yeah, can we go back? Thank you, yeah. Damn, I feel like that's gonna be me in like 30 years, man. It's not good. But, to kind of paint the picture for you guys, it was about 6 p.m., I'm in the office, just realized I lost a deal, and it was when daylight savings time was a thing, so you guys remember when it was like 5:45 and it was like pitch black, right? So I'm in the office at 6 p.m., it's pitch black, I got one of these windows here, but I have the light behind me, so you can kind of like see yourself in the mirror. And I'm just freaking staring at myself, man. Like, what the hell am I going to do? So truth be told, I went on Glassdoor, I went on Indeed, I did not leave there, I was literally job searching. I was job searching before. Can y'all hear me back there? We good? Yeah? Okay. So I started job searching because I didn't know how else I was going to survive. And then I said, no, fuck that. We're gonna figure this shit out. So I looked myself in the mirror, literally just like this. I said, you're gonna be the most educated mother effer in this business. There's not a single time that another client's gonna come through these doors or call you up, Brian, and you're not gonna know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, you're gonna take less than 30 minutes and you're gonna figure that shit out. It's not gonna happen again. So that's what I did. And then over the course of 6 years, I realized that it was kind of wasteful if I like gained all this education. I mean, guys, I'm talking, I started listening to podcasts daily. There's a website called Mortgage News Daily. It's very boring, don't go on there. But I was on there just to educate myself, and I realized this is all wasteful if I don't share it. So over the course of 6 years, YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, TikTok, freaking standing on a stage and talking to you guys about it, spreading it to my team so my team could tell everybody else as well. That's when I realized that it was about educating yourself and then spreading that you know it. And that's what's gonna help you in your business. No matter what business you're in, it doesn't have to be in the real estate field. You could be in data analytics, it doesn't matter. Be the expert in your field. That's what's going to bring you up. I started loving it at that point. I truly did. I started loving the field. So, again, now fast forward 6 years, I mentioned already that agent, she's a top 50 realtor here in Orlando, probably close to $200,000 that I haven't made because she has sent every single other deal elsewhere, not to me, okay? But in hindsight, I started thinking, if she would have stuck with me, I probably would have not learned my lesson. I probably would have continued to go to volleyball and figure like, I've got this, it'll be okay. but not really thinking that I probably would have fucked up on one of her other clients. And you cannot have that. So my message to you guys is truly twofold. One is become the expert in your field. It doesn't matter what your field is, educate yourself. The education does not stop. You get above everybody else if you educate yourself. You need to do it. And I'm not saying go back to school and MBA. Yes, that is great, but there is free education. You guys have all heard of YouTube University, and there's a million other resources out there. So educate yourself. And the other lesson that I would leave you guys with is I told you at the beginning, I liked it. I liked being an entrepreneur. And then when I started teaching myself, I started loving it. But now, day in and day out, I can go on freaking vacation, okay? And I'm taking a walk in the morning and I'm listening to a podcast. I realized something. I promise I'm gonna get to this last takeaway. I realized something, that I'm still, 6 years later, I'm not the smartest guy in this field, and I know I'll never become that, but I'm gonna keep trying to be, right? I also realized that I don't have as much money and resources as my competition does, nor will I probably ever do that. But I'll tell you one thing that I have that my competition has, and all of you guys here, every other single person has, we all have the exact same 24 hours. So how are you gonna use it? Well, my competition is getting in the office at 8:30, that's good, I'm in at 7:45. While they're sleeping, that's cool. I'm at 6 a.m. in the gym, and I'm on the Stairmaster, I'm listening to a podcast. When they're Saturday, golf, not in this heat, but winter time. When they're playing golf on Saturday, perfect. I'm at an open house with realtors telling them what I can do. Go above and beyond, guys. That is what I learned from my fuck up. I learned that yes, it was one transaction in the grand scheme of things, but it completely rewired my brain to be like, okay, if I'm going to be successful in this, I need to be the go-to guy. I need to be top of mind. Whenever somebody even thinks about the boring ass part of real estate mortgages, be like, shit, I gotta call that guy Brian. That guy knows his shit. That's what I want to become. So whatever your industry is, even if it's a W-2 job, it does not matter. Become the expert in that field. And then you'll end up living it. So don't like it, don't love it, live it. That's my last takeaway. Thank you guys.